Hello, so my name is Talia Colbert, and I have my cousin here,
DJ Colbert.
and so I decided to do a kind of, not a variety, but a variety of a couple different healthcare systems. And so for starters, I was going to start with before the war in Iraq. So, of course, in the 1980s, the policy effort to retain physicians, which materialized through travel bans and accrued provision of training and health investments in surgical capacities to cope with massive waves of patients returning from the battlefield with broken limbs and blast injuries. So there was like people helping, well, physicians, and helping with, medical medical statuses of people that were seriously in need at the time. And that was in the war time of Iraq. So currently in Iraq, they still do not have like a stable and good healthcare system as anyone in the United States would. So the health status of Iraq's population has suffered major blows due to the decades of war, because they're always, not always, but a lot of countries go to war with Iraq, and the economic sanctions. This has resulted in several drop in Iraq's gross domestics. The product, consequently, its public expenditures on healthcare system has deteriorated, and the sector has faced continuous shortages in drugs and other supplies. So Iraq does not really have the proper vaccines and cures to help people, like, not people, well, but people that come into like a hospital and need like help to be vaccinated, or any other diseases they might have picked up from being in Iraq and having such a low economic status over there. Also, like, they also have a current ongoing conflict, and poor security situation has further damaged the country's health infrastructure. Many health professionals have fled from safety to neighboring countries, and aboard, the population's access to basic health services has become increasingly impaired. So that's not saying that its healthcare has increased or anything. They still have a way to go, and even though like a lot of people from the United States go and fight in the Iraq war, that's not helping them in the long run. It's still like, it's not helping us, but we still have a way to keep our healthcare system functioning and ongoing, unlike Iraq, because they still do not have a good healthcare system. And I got this off. This is my proof of references for the Iraq. So this is my Iraq reference and where I got my information from to help me be able to prove what I am talking about. So my next topic, sorry. The next topic I wanted to discuss today, was Alaska. I brought up Alaska because I I just wanted to know like how their healthcare system was, because they are a place where a lot of people do not like to go, considering it's really cold, and a lot of people do not like to be frozen. But in Alaska, on September 28th of this year, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services approved the Department of Health and Social Services request for certification of its Medicaid Magnet information system, which they call the MMIS. So certifications allow the department to receive 75% federal finance participation funds for costs associated with implementations of the systems. So I took it as like for Alaska that they are taking steps to have like Medicaid and Medicaid and Medicare, and also like improving their healthcare as a place where they're able to have their people that are there, even though it's not many people in Alaska, to have them all insured and able to have insurance, and having the right care for them, just like the United States care for us and try to figure out ways to keep healthcare affordable for low-income people, low-income families, and all of the above. Also, Medicaid regulations, like the new regulations affecting providers with prospectively determined rates, were adopted by the Department of Health and Social Services, and the governor, he helped with that and signed off, and that it took effect November 10th of this year, so it already happened. And beginning on October 10th of this year, Alaska's Medicaid members who are 18 or older will have access to Medicaid expansion of medical benefits, and they can do that through like their personal computers or smartphones, which is beneficial because they don't have to go to a welfare office or a Social Security building to try to figure out their a good health plan to put themselves on, because they are 18 and considered adults now, and they're kind of taking off of their parents' insurance. I mean, I feel that is just the way it is in Nevada. Once you hit a certain age, you're off of your parents' insurance because you're technically considered an adult and you're supposed to get the stuff for yourself. The medical expansion of medical benefits will display a limited section of data filled from the claims that providers have billed on the members' behalf. Members must register to view. So if you're not a member of the medical expansion of medical benefits, then you cannot like see any type of records of, you can't see your own records because you're not a member. So to see your records and make sure you are insured and get up on the new insurance or medical plans that the governor has signed for and took effect in, or they will take an effect, you have to be a member. So I kind of did like a good a bad healthcare system and a good healthcare system, because Alaska does not have, Iraq does not have a good healthcare system. What don't you think, Dijon? How do you feel about Iraq's healthcare system versus Alaska's?
Their healthcare system is kind of down because they do have like a lot of wars, and like it's like a lot of people, so like they can't really tend to all those people, so a lot of people die due to some of their health care, and then some, if you think about it, they really don't have insurance like that, so like their health care is like really not like, provided for them, like they have to pay for it out of their own money. Some people are struggling and don't have the money to do it. And then Alaska, you have people who have money and who have insurance and stuff, like, they can do that for themselves. And I think Alaska's is like better than Iraq, only because Iraq do struggle and like all the wars and stuff, and Alaskans or whatever, they just they have like so much better, because you don't really hear anything about them, because they are like one of the like places where people don't go, and like they're another place where like people don't really like
talk
care,
about
because like nobody really cares. So like
not that no one really cares, but it's the fact that it's not that many people in Alaska, so it's fewer discussions upon Alaska's behalf. As long as they're like insured, everything's good over in Alaska, then I feel like it has the benefits, because we don't have to worry about, we have to get Affordable Care Act over there, we have to get like Obamacare, there's people struggling, like in America, in America we had to figure out like an Affordable Care Act, because there is many people that weren't insured. Did you know that?
Yes, I did.
Like Obamacare helped a lot of people when it took effect. A lot of people were insured, were able to be insured and be able to be seen by doctors. So there is like a pro and a con between Iraq and Alaska, just based off the difference between the places. Like one's a war place, or a place where a lot of wars have happened, and then another place is where there are fewer people. So lastly, I want to I have to show you where I got my research from as my citations. And so for Alaska, I got my sites from a site called dhss.alaska.gov. I feel like that's amazing due to it being .gov. That's a trustworthy site. And so this is what it looks like. And when you scroll down, you will see the different citations and paragraphs where I got my information from for Alaska. Lastly is my Chicago. So Chicago, I feel like it's kind of like what we have going on in the United States. Like, I feel like they have the Affordable Care Act, but in Chicago, their healthcare sectors is not immune to the access, costs, or disparity challenges facing the national market. It has the potential to drive transformation and growth for residents. So I take, in my words, I feel like in Chicago they have like, they are not kind of, they're not like, they have not taken effect into the challenges yet. Like, the real world have not hit them into like them being scared about not being insured, or the economy where a lot of people lack the ability to have insurance, the and also like a lot of like in America how a lot of people didn't have like insurance and they weren't able to be seen by a doctor. I don't think that has hit Chicago yet, how it has hit us. I mean, like I don't think it hasn't. I don't think it has hit them. Also, the city has significant economic and health-related shortcomings to address, like namely the vast difference in health outcomes by neighborhoods. So like, Chicago, I feel like they don't have like a poor health care system. I feel like they have a decent healthcare system. I feel like the people over in Chicago are satisfied with what they have currently, and they feel like they are able to live off of, and they are able to not like stress and be so worried about what will happen in the future. I mean, yeah, they will, because like everyone wants insurance at the end of the day, but I don't think it has hit them yet in like reality. I also had one more thing to touch up on, and then I'm going to show you both of my facts. Excuse me, both the facts from Chicago, where I got my information from, and also I had one more thing for Alaska. I also found kind of like a fact that it states the United States has the world's highest healthcare costs, and it sure looks like Alaska has the highest healthcare costs in the United States, as well as the fastest rising costs. The last frontier sky high cost shows up in various ways. The Kaiser Family Foundation data from 2014 has Alaska as highest among the states in per capita health expenditures, with only the District of Columbia higher, relying on data collected from 264 areas around the U.S. The Anchorage Economic Development Corporation reported that in 2016, it's a couple years back from where we are now, the 3 cities with the highest healthcare costs in the nation were Jair, Fairbanks, and Anchorage. And the story and the same regarding health insurance as the premiums of Alaska on the exchanges of 2017 are at the top among the states. No other state has experienced higher annual percentage growth in healthcare costs since 1991, according to the federal government, the Government Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and the old lingo of the popular music chart. So basically, Alaska has a better healthcare system like I said, over Iraq, and this proves how they I feel like this site, it proves and it helps the fact that Alaska has a good healthcare system. I feel like they have a good healthcare system considering because there's not many people there that live in Alaska, so it's kind of easier to provide and make sure a lot of people are insured because there's not that many people in Alaska, and make sure they have the best of the best healthcare system. And I got this off of a site, a .org site, so I feel like that's, really good for recommendations. This is a site, high healthcare costs in Alaska, facts, causes, consequence, and remedies. Sorry, this is the site, and I have one more site to show you for my Chicago. Where I got my Chicago facts were from a .com, so I'm not sure how credible this is because it is a .com, but these are the 3 different healthcare systems I chose to look up on and see, kind of do like a compare and contrast, like I said in the beginning, and see which one not had the better, but the difference in their healthcare systems. Thank you. And once again, my name is Talia Colbert, and
I'm Dejanay Colbert.